This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and we are still, we're just becoming Chad the Channel. Chadwick. Gadwick, the Wizened. I guess I'm just getting really addicted to drawing X cards, and with Hydroid Krasis leaving the format, I'm trying to find all kinds of ways to play Gadwick in a lot of decks, and this has been one of my favorites. I'm pretty excited to show you. Is it 2021 yet? Do you like that joke? I think we can all relate to that. I think we're all feeling it, like right here. Can it just be 2021 already? Can we just put it? And nope. Positivity. Positivity and spunk and entertainment. That's what you're here for. So Gadwick the Wizened in an Is It flavored kind of control, kind of tempo-y deck with a number of spicy one-ofs to keep the opponent off balance for 2021 rotation proof standard. I like this deck more than I should, and it plays in an interesting way that you have to get used to. You answer the opponent's threats pretty well. You have 2 Shocks, 2 Dragonfires, 4 Brazen Borrowers, and 4 Bonecrusher Giant. They're not going to run you over easily. In the mid-game, you counter key spells with 4 Neutralize, a Whirlwind Denial, and a Mystical Dispute. If you don't have your counters, you play some Adventure Bodies and make the opponent respect them and try to get some chip damage in. In the late game, things start to get really spicy. Of course, once your hand is totally empty, you play a Gadwick, and if they don't deal with that, you get to tap their things, because you have a lot of instants, which is nice. But we have a Thrix the Sudden Storm, who does make Gadwick uncounterable and adds another point to your Gadwick cast, which is nice. I think 1 is a good number there. We have 4 Shark Typhoons, so as we pile a ton of mana onto the battlefield, the sharks get bigger and they get nastier. And we have Sublime Epiphany, which I've used all the modes. It has happened. In this deck, the fact that you have creatures to copy, aside from the legendary ones, Thrix and Gadwick, is pretty strong. You usually end up making a Brazen Borrower or a Shark. Targeting your Bonecrusher Giant will cost you 2 damage, but it's often worth it if you have nothing else to target. And then we have the one, we should just call it Is It Flash, because this is the Flash card, and probably the best Flash card in the deck, quite frankly. Because this card is the sword, baby. And all you need to know is that if the sword is lit, we are legit. And it is amazing how many times we close games by making a big old shark and attaching the 1 Embercleave to it. Like I said, anytime you start getting low on things to do, just play Gadwick, reload your hand, and then use your various spells to answer the things your opponent does while you're tapped out. It's a really fun deck to play, at least for me. I really enjoy it. And don't let this ugly curve fool you. These are 3s, these are 3s, these are 3s, but none of them are really 3s. A little sequencing tip: if you can play 3 blue sources in a row, do it. Because sometimes, not often, but against aggro especially, you just want to throw a Gadwick on the battlefield for the 3/3 body that can tap the opponent's things. It happens. So don't be afraid to, like, if you have a curve of like Triome into Island, and your hand is mostly junk, or you have multiple Gadwicks in it, then just do that and play the Gadwick. Don't try to hold on to it forever if you're under pressure. Of course, if your opponent has nothing on the board, just save the Gadwick. Try to get the cards. We have a lot of land, 27, so you should hit your land drops pretty well, and you can use Opt to find even more. That is why also we have all these cycling lands, because if the deck floods out, it often has plenty of leftover mana, or it's bluffing counterspells, or the opponent doesn't play into a counterspell, so we can cycle a Triome. There's actually no use for the other colors. I just really like being able to cycle more than I like being able to scry, and I don't really recommend crafting temples. I realize there are a lot of viewers who kind of run out and craft what I show them, and I think crafting a Triome is a lot better value for your rare wildcard than a temple ever will be. So you're going to see me trying to be conscious of that and put Triomes in more decks. All right, this is a funky deck to play, so buckle in, prepare for the roller coaster ride on the gameplay, and hopefully pick up some tricks from watching me jump around with this silly Is It deck in ranked. So let's dive in. Let the Is It nonsense begin. The tap lands are awkward. Of course we'd have both castles, but we will give it a shot. We don't have any counters either, but we have a lot of ways to keep the opponent off balance. A little bouncy, a little removey, a little sharky. Alright, scries it to the bottom. Mana's availables. Is it a mirror? I don't know, is it? Haha. Lol. Let's hang on to our stuff. Riddle form. That is a card. An obnoxious little card. Let's go ahead and bounce it because we can. Make them put mana into that in the future. Nice, yeah, thanks. For your next trick, Riddle form! Yay! So I think we're better off playing the Borrower. Shark Typhoon's pretty unnecessary, and it gets bigger the longer we wait. There it is. Would you like to bolt it or unsummon it? There's a neutralize. That feels better. I don't like the odds. Like, I don't think the odds are good that our opponent is going to somehow run their Riddle form into our Borrower. And we have a Dragonfire anyway. Sprite Dragon. Okay. What you gonna do? So. This feels like the opponent has their own Unsummon or Brazen Borrower. So I don't want to go for the Shark. Or do I? All that happens is they put a counter on this and they tap their mana. It's not terrifying. Plus we get more likely to hit our next land drop, and we can kill this if they tap out pretty easily with our other removal spells. Whirlwind Denial's an interesting card. And there's the Brazen Borrower. Okay. Well, we got it played. And we did hit our land drop, so a lot of things are working out. Stompy stomps. And hold open mana. Okay, now you're just responding to everything. This is not a dialogue show. I'm the one who talks to the camera, not you. Nothing. Alright, let's shark it up. Give them something else to think about. They might be trying an ambush here. Scorching Dragonfire is pretty good for that. Another Brazen Borrower. 2 triggers on the stack. Let's just Whirlwind Deny both. They get no Riddle form critter. At least we act like we're afraid of it. Make them do something else. Okay. They're gonna take it. Nice. So I was going to counter this. Now I'm not so sure. If they have a Stormwing, I take 3. You know, we've got to play these. They're rotting in our hand, so we just have to make it happen. And the opponent's on the defensive. My robot's being pouty. You can't see him. He's behind my face. Double Riddle form. And it's getting aggressive in here. Whoa. Look who's the boss now. We have infuriated a gamer, everybody. Okay. Down to 6. I'm scared. I guess that's what happens when you tap out. Alright. They can potentially kill me next turn. Can they do it through a Neutralize and a Scorching Dragonfire? Doesn't seem likely. But better safe than sorry, I think. Ops. Here they come. Let's see if the opponent can get through. It looks like they have a sort of their own spell-based Embercleave setup that they go for. So we're going to try to hold on to Neutralize and Scorching Dragonfire to the last possible second. Only counter the absolute key thing. We keep on top. It's too risky to play Thrix. Let's just see if they'll take a trade here. And here's Infuriate. Here is Scorching Dragonfire. And are we dead? Riddle forms are dead. Opponent still has a Stormwing Entity. We have a Neutralize. Let's hold up the Thrix Sudden Storm. Can catch a Sprite Dragon, for example. Opponent with another Opt. That's 3 in the last 2 turns. And another Riddle form. Let's see what we dig up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Game. The is-it superiority is established. They can't find us an opponent in Mythic, so we have to gatekeep the diamonds. It's a weird hand. I'm gonna try it, but I'm not sure about it. It scurs me. This Shock has to hit something. This Whirlwind Denial has to catch something. The Shark Typhoon has to draw a good card. The Embercleave is probably going to sit here for a long time. Ah, this is why you're still diamond. Mono red. Yes, of course. Your go. Nemesis. Lead on a mountain, and hello me. I know these tricks better than anyone. Oh, wait. Are we getting another Is It deck? Never see these decks. And then, out of nowhere, we play one, and you see it everywhere. It's like when you buy a new car. Sprite Dragon. Come at me, bro. Would you like to pump it? No? Alright, shoot it down. Pretty lucky to run up against a card that lined up well to our Shock. Riddle Form and Stormwing Entity are pretty hard to kill if you can't counter them, because we have Shocks and Bone Crusher Giants for the most part. Baby Shark? Doot-doo? Give the Brazen Borrower a target. Feels like if we wait, we'll be better off. I pretty much want to do nothing until I'm about to miss a land drop. Pretty good draw there on the Dragonfire, though. I think I will cycle Typhoon if they do nothing this turn, because I really don't want to play Gadwick next turn. I would like to hit my land drop and hang on to the Gadwick. Here, Sharky Sharky. What is it? It's a land. Yes. Good, good. And the opponent has a Shark. Shark is dead to a little electricity. Got tased. It's another good draw, though. It's another very good draw. Raking Claws. Another opponent trying to do like almost an Embercleave thing with their Is It spell deck. Just get this big massive hit out of nowhere. Well, that is hard to do against a deck full of interaction like mine. So I think we're favored somewhat naturally. Doesn't mean we can take it lightly though. Let's see if we can find a land drop here. Ouch. Alright. Not what I was hoping for. Opponent takes 3 on the chin. So what do we have to do to set up the big Embercleave? Probably get the Bone Crusher down. Stern Dismissal. Bye-bye Shark. Stormwing Entity. I think we should deny it. It's too hard to remove. We could also bounce it, though. Brazen bouncing this could be weird for the opponent, but they get the Scry trigger. Yeah, this is probably the best card they can play against us anyway. It's their biggest hitter. Just counter it. Okay, and they had to tap out, so now the Dragonfire will hit this. 1 to the top. Probably another threat, or at least that's what I would keep. And they're down to 1 card, so things are going extra well. Let's exile that, say go. Time to start thinking Embercleave-y thoughts. Also time to think about playing Gadwick. Let's get the 3-1 down, save the Shark. It can be bigger. And this isn't something they want to bounce. And we'll try for a 5-5 Shark on their end step. The Embercleave might just make that lethal. Actually, no it won't, but with Bone Crusher Giant, potentially could. Also depends what the opponent does about the Borrower, if anything. Saying go. I think they have a bounce spell for this, but let's do it anyway. We've got to wear down their resources. So that Gadwick can basically take the whole game over. Swing. Anything? Alright, so there is Brazen Borrower. Do we want to cleave? If the opponent has another removal spell, we're still in good shape. Let's go for it. Let's go for the Embercleave. Even if they have the answer, we got the cleave on the battlefield. Ow. Yeah, that'll leave a mark. Every land we have on the field converts to a card through Gadwick, so we'll play the Triome. Here's the Brazen. Here's the Stompies. Do it now, more likely to get our Bone Crusher Giant later. And what are you gonna do when the one punch Mega Fey goes wild on you? Rude. So rude. All right, all right. Show the Gadwick. It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! I have infinite land is what I have. I thought drawing a bunch of cards would be good enough. Now I'm like, well... Ah, the opponent also flooded on land. That's game. Is it superiority continues? Alright. Hand does a lot of things. We probably need to fetch red. We don't need to fetch red. Sweet. It's covert go blue, not covert go other colors. This Gadwick and Sudden Storm are looking nice. That's... Why? Why? Takes Strix? Wow. Don't know what you feeling threatened about, dude. Do you have another one for the Gadwick? Maybe. Nothing happening. Do we hold Brazen Borrower or do we play Brazen Borrower? If we play Brazen Borrower will die. Let's cycle instead. Try to find some counter spells. No likey. Alright, they know about the Borrower. Let's hold some priority with Fabled Passage for a minute. Omen of the Sun. Well, at least there's a target there for the Borrower. Is this going to be some kind of a Doom Foretold list? I'm really not sure. I guess if they have Doom Foretold, I really don't want to use the Borrower on a token. We do have to be careful about deploying this, I think. Running it into a removal spell, we really want to play it when we know it will get damage. And I want to ignore this 1/1, at least for a while. Our hand is not doing much. And they run Agonizing Remorse, so Gadwick could get taken at any time. But drawing 2 with the card just seems so bad. I think we hold up and see if they play a Yorion or something else. Okay, we're already scrying. Their deck is a bit of a mystery to me. 2 to the bottom. No Agonizing Remorse, please. Need this hand refill pretty badly. It is Doom Foretold. Okay, well we can play the Borrower. It eats the Doom Foretold, then the Doom Foretold eats itself unless they have an Omen. I'm going to go ahead and cast this Shock, just because I'm going to draw a bunch of cards with the Gadwick. Triome. This way, even if they have an Omen, they have to play multiple things to keep Doom off the battlefield. So, no Omen. Doom's gone. I'm guessing they have multiples. Rider takes Gadwick down. I think playing Shark Typhoon would be a big mistake. The opponent almost certainly runs Elspeth Conquers Death. In multiples, I'd guess. So, we'll want to cycle that. And we'll want to play this. So, let's cycle Shark Typhoon into a bigger Gadwick. Crap! They might take the Shark Typhoon and be afraid of it. Yeah. And the Gadwick's actually better. You see more cards that way. Let's cycle first. See if we draw like a neutralize. Any reason to hold mana open? No. Alright, now let's zap you. Get the castle out of our hand. Draw 5. Starting to work our way through the flood. Still can't find a counter spell. Counterspell would make me feel warm and fuzzy. Wow. Straight up shatter that thing. Epiphany. Well, that's a counterspell. It was bound to happen. And one day it did. Here's a Murderous Rider. Opponent has been on 4 lands most of the game. I'm sure that's attention for them. Down to 3 basics in the deck. We want to get the Shark made because we can make a copy of it with the Sublime Epiphany and protect it with the Sublime Epiphany. There's a counter. Neutralize. Do this while we can. The Epiphany is a counter too, but you know what I'm saying. So we have 8 mana. We could play this, not have Epiphany open, but I think having the Epiphany is so much better than having a Bone Crusher Giant and Neutralize. I'll go ahead and take the 2. The opponent can have 2 life. It won't save them. If they go for a spell here, we counter it, make a Shark copy. Yep. No reason to bounce their Murderous Rider. Yep. Are you going to make me play these ops? Okay. Giving them a chance to scoop if they want to, but we'll ride the wave all the way. The door to Mythic is shut. Gate successfully kept. Oh, so close. This hand will not be run over easily. We have got the blue mana for the Gadwick, but we've got a lot of removal spells to buy time, and then reload. Let's hope our opponent likes creatures, though. If they don't play creatures, this hand is not good, and Embercleave is arguably the worst top deck we could have in the moment, as far as a card that's just not going to matter for a very long time. Radiant Fountain? Okay, this game is not going to go the way I wanted it to. I'm confident of that already. These removal spells probably won't have targets. Whatever our opponent is doing, they are taking their time. Whoa, never mind. Alright. Simic Adventure? It's still a pretty rough spot. They got a card out of their Innkeeper because they played smart. Good job. But we kept it to just 1. Let's go ahead and slam a Giant here. Try to put some pressure on the opponent. Simic Adventure is a insanely powerful deck. We don't have any counters or Brazen Borrowers right now to slow down the Clover play. So, if the Clover shows up, we're in a lot of trouble. But seeing a Beanstalk Giant means they don't have one, or they'd save the Giant for it. Also means they must have another blue, because they fetched another green. So, at least 1 island in hand and no Clover. I think they also would have played Uro if they could, so probably no Uro. So what is this? Fae of Wishes. Yeah. Maybe another Giant? Maybe a lot of land. I think we're going to have to try to set up an Embercleave of some sorts. There's our double red, there's our double Giant. That can reduce the cost and we can try to cleave them. I think they would have fetched an island for sure if they had a Brazen Borrower. So yeah, their hand can't be that great. Must have a Fae of Wishes, or why would you keep it? There you go. I don't have a good answer to the Beanstalk Giant. So if I am not cleaving, it depends what the opponent fetches here, but if I don't cleave, I probably just need a Gadwick, so I have a way to tap the Beanstalk Giant. If I were them, what would I fetch? They're not expecting Embercleave. At least I don't think so. Unsummon is kind of a weird grab against 2 Giants. They're going to grab what they always grab, Ugin. Only fetch Ugin. Alright, let's cleave them. There's another turn until the Ugin comes down. If they play a giant, that's pretty good. We'll put that over here. They're going to lose this anyway, so we're going to focus on dealing damage. Down to 8. So if they go land Beanstalk Giant, if we draw an opt, we win. Alright. Another Bone Crusher Giant. So we have 4 damage to the dome. This absorbs most of it. I guess we can use 3 damage on this. Let's see, we use 3 damage on this. And our opponent takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is 7, 8. Okay. So this is a pretty cool play with Trample that doesn't come up often, especially not in my videos, because I don't play a lot with First Strike and Trample. But if you deal, this basically becomes like a burn spell. It can kind of go face if it's taking out the toughness of something that's blocking your double strike creature. So Shock and Bone Crusher to face weren't going to be enough. It was going to be 1 short. But with the help of this spell, we're going to get the job done. And as usual, they fetch Ugin, and Ugin is way too slow. Ugly hand though, but we have Bone Crusher Giant and Neutralize. Like, we've got good stuff. It's just the mana's super awkward. I should mulligan it. I should mulligan it. I should mulligan it. I actually did. Who is this CGB? Let's get rid of one of the tap lands. If we draw any land, the Fabled Passage is untapped, which is why I kept what I kept. Opt. Okay, that's a play for next turn to try to hit our untapped land. This is mono green. They play mono green. Elysian Caryatid. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Let's see if we can find... Alright, beautiful. Rada. Gross. That got under the Neutralize. We're going to need a Scorching Dragonfire for that. We get to counter the next few things, but we're taking 4 a turn. It's going to get old. And our opponent gets value. Every land on top of their deck they get to play for free. So, advantage opponent, but it's not over. If we draw 2 lands in a row, things start getting interesting. It gets interesting when we can flash this in. It gets interesting when we can make a shark. It gets downright scary when the opponent can activate the Rada and just hit us for a bunch and we can't counter it. And they don't attack with the Caryatid, so they're playing around the Typhoon. Smart. Alright, they're sitting on first strike damage. It is your go. Maybe they're thinking deep thoughts about hitting the opponent with the Rada. Or maybe they didn't realize it. Alright, Based Kyle. Based Kyle does nothing. Let's make a baby. They're gonna feel so smart. They're like, yeah, I didn't attack with my Caryatid. And that's a baby shark. I'm so smart. My friends think I'm smart and funny. My mom thinks I'm funny. Now I know I'm smart and funny. Bone crushed. No shocks, no scorching dragonfires. I'm hurting. I am hurting this game. Azusa. Do I care? It's not the kind of thing I want to counter, but at the same time, this is getting a little out of hand. Where if I just let my opponent resolve all their cool stuff, eventually the Rada is huge. Still not attacking with the Caryatid. Sign that they have another Bone Crusher or something else to play. Fabled Passage gang. I like Passage when it holds priority, so the opponent can't get a read on if we have a Typhoon or what we have. Oh, I'll do it. Don't make me do it. Oh, I'm gonna... Okay. We got proper try-hard Kyle here. Okay, they're going for the giant pre-combat, which means they can't activate the Rada. This now taps for 2 mana. And they attack with both. I don't know what they have. Might be a Titanic Growth or something. But I think we play the Thrix. The body is pretty huge. I don't know how the opponent deals with it, and it takes out the Rada. They've got something. I mean, if it's a ram through, I don't think I care. I guess ram through right now would do it, but no. Alright, the Typhoon is ready to rumble. Do we attack? Or do we hold back? I think we're the defensive player at the moment. I know, cheaper Typhoons. How exciting. But I don't think that's the way we want to do it. So do I counter this? It seems to be a pretty big part of their strategy, but I think I'd prefer another Shark and more land drops. And try to set up for the Embercleave, hit them in the air, and just win. Wow. Okay. What you got? Sure. Indestructible. That doesn't kill my Thrix though. Okay. Yeah, 5 toughness, brah. 5 toughness. So strong. They're closing in on a heck of a finish. Sharks carrying Embercleaves in the air. Let's get a poke in with this Shark. I think it means the next attack, Embercleave powered attack, can be super lethals. Heroic intervention, huh? Dude. The cards people buy into. Rada's coming. Bone Crusher's coming. Let's have the neutralize at the ready. They might pump this, which can deal a lot of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 10. And then this can tap for 2, which doesn't play Embercleave. Plus we have neutralize. So I think this is the way to do it. And if this is the, like if this is their whole game plan, if they don't play anything else, I think we get them. Ranger's Guile. They're going to take 2 from that. So if we make a 5/5 Shark and put the Embercleave on it, they're dead. They're dead. If I counter it, they still take the 2, and I have both of these. They're at 14. I put the Embercleave on this, that's 10, 14. They're still dead. The only risk is that they have one more trick up their sleeve. If they have one more trick and it's a pump spell, we can't win. So, let this resolve. Alright, got anything else up your sleeve? This also won't make 2 mana on our turn, which I don't know if that's going to be relevant. Cleave! Cleave, cleave, cleave. Believe in the Embercleave. Stealing games with Izzet. Crazy. No gatekeeping to be done here. Just a battle for supremacy. And a multi-5. Okay, Temple of Deceit. Keep on top. Playing the mountain here, the way that priority will pass is such a giveaway on the shock. and I don't think I'm actually going to cast it, then I'm not going to give away that I have it. Now we'll give it away, because it could be a lot of things. Could be a Shark Typhoon, could be a Giant. Okay, Night Bonder. Full control, kind of. Turn off of the auto passing, resolve. And Stompershins. Let's get that off the field. And we have a Bone Crusher Giant for later. No chance to counter it. Opponent says go. They could have Slitherwisp. They could have a few things. Let's play the island and let's take it easy. It's a dead giveaway that we don't have, that we have a counter or removal spell when we don't play the Giant. So that's a little unfortunate. Not in a hurry here to cycle the Typhoon either. A staring match is just fine with me. I've got land. I can play this game. We will cycle the Typhoon at the end of the next turn cycle if we don't have anything to do. And if the opponent continues their do-nothing ways. Both on top. Should be good. Brazen Borrower. Shocky Shock. One less borrower in the world. So, make a Shark Typhoon token, try to keep hitting land. Seems smart. We don't know what they play, if they have counter spells and what kind. Getting Gadwick to actually resolve might be a big part of the game plan. But we've got counters, and for some reason, we've got plenty of them without the 6th land, which I wanted quite a bit. Here's the Wisp. So, do we let that resolve? I think we do, because we can Whirlwind Denial their other flash card and they don't get to draw. Yep, here comes the Omen and they want these triggers and we'll just deny it. And they get none of this. So basically buying ourselves 2 cards with our Whirlwind Denial and taking out one of their best cards. They played it well. They lined it up so they could Slitherwisp and get more cards out of the deal, and we shut it down. And they hate that. Oh man, do they hate that. Somebody explain, why do I get more ranking points for beating people in Diamond than I get for beating someone in Mythic? I got 4 points for that win. I got like 20 points for beating somebody in Diamond. Seems sketch. Good hand with a variety of things that we need. Our opponent is White Rose. Somebody else watches Mr. Robot. Hi, I'm Mr. Robot Guy. I am perpetually oblivious and brilliant. And yeah. That was my terrible impression of the dude in Mr. Robot. If you share it on Twitter, please don't tag the actor. Break my frickin' heart. Alright, our opponent's on a good draw. They got the turn 2 Clover. I think the best play is always to bounce it and just slow them down if they do have the Beanstalk Giant draw. Give yourself a little bit of time before they start destroying you. Oh boy. Okay, 1 Fae of Wishes and 2 Borrowers. And a lot of land and a Clover. How aggressive should we be feeling? I think we at least represent a counter, then play the Borrowers, start attacking. I'm a bit worried about land and having these ops stranded, but we'll figure it out. Okay, they drew 3 Clovers in their top 18. These are the games where you don't want to play anymore. But we're going to fight. We're going to do our best. Okay, gotta hit land. We cannot fall behind on land and expect to stay in this game. The opponent's going to be getting way too much value. I also don't think I should be playing Bone Crusher as a 4-3. I think like the 4-3 is just not going to hit the opponent very often. So much better off to shoot it to the face if we have to. And make sure the damage gets in. See what I mean? Like, this is not going to get it done. Yeah. That's a big groan. That is a big groan. The opponent, if they had a hard time with mana, like if their play for that turn was Lovestruck Beast, I'd still feel like maybe I can race them, or maybe I can find a way to sneak in lethal. But now that they have huge mana available, I don't feel like that's possible. They'll have good things to do. All right, let's opt into a land. Do I have to be more aggressive than that? I don't think I can afford to. I've got to take the land. Let's go stomp face. We're on a mission. We gotta kill him. All right. Play this. Attack. Again, playing the Bone Crusher Giant just isn't going to get it done. Let's play the Gadwick, because if the opponent overcommits to an attack step, we might be able to tap some creatures and get some damage in with the Gadwick. Wish I'd bottomed that Triome now, but I still think that would have been too greedy. Gross. Sublime Epiphany, no! I mean, they haven't had Uro in their top 20 unless they're slow rolling it from hand, so I guess that's Mr. Brightside here. Yep, alright. Thinking about saving a token? No, being aggressive. If they have Fae of Wishes, we have no chance, right? They can go get sleep. We can't possibly race them. They just beat us into the ground. They are slow rolling Uro. Oh, oof. Not good. Not the droid we're looking for. And they have plenty of graveyard, right? Oh, they're down to 3. They only had the 8 cards from the Secret Keeper. Slam the Typhoon. We'll be too far behind if we make that play. We have to use the Epiphany on their turn. Although, could make a reasonably sized shark and then copy that. Just gonna wait till they put something on the stack. Looks like they're not going to do that. I could counter the Uro trigger. Gosh, this is so rough. I wouldn't give for another Brazen Borrower. Think. I think it has to be this. Alright, target non-land permanent. What do we bounce? Everything's a problem. If we bounce the Uro and tap the Beast, we still don't have a good attack. If we bounce the Clover, it slows them down a little. Yeah, we don't want to bounce any adventure. We'll bounce a Clover. We'll copy a Brazen Borrower. We'll draw a card. We'll tap the Uro. You are late. You are extremely late. $8 to 17. How the heck are we gonna pull this off? You're not gonna pull it off, CDB. You're gonna fail. Shut up. I'm not gonna fail. I'm not going down. Not going down like that, man. Not today. No! They just have to... Oh my gosh. They have to only have the broken draws. Not sleep. They didn't get sleep. They got Ugin. Alright. Do we have a chance? I don't think so. I think we still don't have a chance. But But if they had sleep there, we had no chance whatsoever. But once again, nobody plays sleep. They all overvalue Ugin and neutralize, and that's the dumb crap they want to put in their decks. They love giving me a chance. And they didn't even play the Fae, so we get 6 free damage. I don't know if free is the right word, but you know what I'm saying. Alright, Typhoon. Alright, Mystical Dispute. We're so close to dead, though, and I can't... I need them to play a spell pre-combat, which obviously they just don't have to do. All they have to do is play kind of smart, and they should have an easy time here, right? Just don't put a spell on the stack and go to combat. That's all you've got to do. Let's see. Yep, they do it. All right. Is there anything I can do here? I can try to Shark cycle into a Brazen Borrower, which would go a really long way to getting us out of this. I could Scorching Dragonfire the Uro and then block it. And from there we take 9 and we die. And all of this, of course, is with a Neutralize in our opponent's hand. So I think we make a very small Shark and try to draw a Brazen Borrower. If we do that, or some blue spell we can cast, that's our best chance to stay in this game. It's just mean. The deck is just mean today. All right. We've had a really good run. I'm not actually angry, but for goodness gracious. It's been ice cold down the stretch. Ice cold. Opponent still has 8 mana open. Let's see if we can bait out their Ugin. We'll go you block here and you block here. Taking 4. We can Dragonfire this. If they counter it, then they can't Ugin, and we can Bone Crush this. Let's start with the Giant. You want to counter that? Nope. Alright, we can slow roll this till end step. Maybe I was supposed to shoot the face. There's just no way I'm gonna win, like, fighting on the ground like this. Maybe I was supposed to stomp face. 12, another 6, and then I just have to find another 6. Easy, no problems. Probably should have disputed that, but they played around it perfectly. They had 3 mana, so they could have paid it. But then they wouldn't be able to neutralize? Yeah. I don't know, it's that or exile this, right? Shock. I hate this game. Alright. I've had a lot of good games. I don't deserve a free win or anything. I'm just getting really salty with this one. Anyway, I think it's a fair scoop from here. Our opponent's got it. Yeah, hard to beat 3 Clovers. I think that's all you can really take away from that. And we are back for the post-game wrap-up. And what did we learn? I learned I still really love this style of deck, but I've also had really good results with it. Let's see, I think they're doing stats on 2021 now. What's the worst that could happen? I could just do another super cringy outro. 6-1! 6-1 in ranked. 85%. That graph looks so terrible. The small sample size of the 1 loss being my last game. Oh, that's a brutal one. That's what that is. But yeah, I've had a really good results on this thing so far. It might be competitive. It might have what it takes to hang, but it requires more testing against Adventure, which is the arch nemesis of, I think, any deck playing 2021. Standard right now. You always have to, in the back of your mind, there are two things you don't want to happen to you. You don't want to lose to Lucky Clover easily. You don't want the inevitability of that card to automatically beat you. I don't think it will with this deck. This deck might surprise the Lucky Clover with the Cleave and the Giant Sharks and Gadwick tapping their blockers. And you also don't want Zenith Flare to just kill you. And this deck has Neutralize, so maybe we can kill their early threats and counter their Zenith Flare. But, yeah, I like the deck. I would try it as is, and don't be afraid to move around some of the one-ofs if you want to play some spice, test some spice out. But I like the build. I'm down with it. Requires more testing to know if it's super legit, but it felt legit today to me. So, cool kids, thanks for being here. You, still watching the video, you're cool. And a little self-plug. 100,000 subscribers. The milestone that makes you a real YouTuber. Some will say you don't need material things like a YouTube play button to be a real YouTuber. And to them I say, have you ever had merchant make fun of you? Just kind of like rubbing your face. Oh, I was over here shining my play button. That's why we need one. I know I'm real, but by God, if I don't show that Brit what's up. So, YouTube play button. When I checked my stats at the beginning of this year, and I mean at the beginning of 2020, it said I would probably be able to achieve 100,000 subscribers by the year 2023. That's what it said. Now, same website still says I will probably not get to 100,000 this year. It says I will probably do it sometime in the middle of next year. And to that I say, baloney! You don't know this community. You don't know these cool kids. And you don't know me, baby. Because come hell or high water, I will entertain. I will make this game fun. It sounds so arrogant. So cringe. But that's, I hope you realize, I get up every day and I say, how do I make this game fun? And if you are having fun, how you can help in the cause, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, share the video with your friends. We're at what, 83,000? That is so much better than I ever thought would happen in my wildest dreams. If we can do that, we can do a hundo by December 31st, 2020 and leave this absolutely zany year on a high note. So join me in the quest, my friends. Like, subscribe, share, comment, YouTube algorithm support. YouTube play button. This year, baby. I'll play so much jank. I'm not even making an official promise, because I do promise if we get there, I will do something legendary for you all. But I'm not telling you what it is. I'm not saying it. But you're gonna love it. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video, and goodbye.